Hello, this is Peter Woolfolk, producer and host of the Public Relations Review podcast. When I conceived this program, my idea was to provide public relations practitioners with a wide variety of solid, useful information and guidance from public relations professionals across America. And we are doing that. I will continue to cover important topics such as crisis communications and artificial intelligence and other such important topics. But I will also address other issues such as diversity in public relations, marketing to women, public relations trends, various data concerns, and much more. From time to time, I will also invite vendors of public relations products on to help you better understand how these products can improve your efficiency and your effectiveness. You will learn a lot from our podcast, so thank you for listening, and please inform your colleagues about the Public Relations Review podcast and continue listening. Thank you so very much.
Welcome. This is the Public Relations Review podcast, a program to discuss the many facets of public relations with seasoned professionals, educators, authors, and others. Now, here is your host, Peter Woolfolk.
Welcome to another episode of the Public Relations Review. As PR professionals, we do not often see many articles or other narratives about the benefits of public relations, community outreach techniques, and media relations, and how media relations connects to these areas. Joining us from Hunt Valley, Maryland, is my guest today, Jennifer McGinley. She is the CEO of JLM Strategic Communications, which she founded in October 2017. She specializes in media relations, community outreach, small business, and other areas. Prior to joining her company, Jennifer worked in the healthcare industry in the Philadelphia area before moving to Baltimore, where she worked at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and the School of Pharmacy and Public Affairs, Development, and Alumni Relations. Jennifer helps high-level professionals and organizations amplify their brand and increase connections, visibility, and credibility through strategic public relations campaigns. Listening is Jennifer's superpower. Today, however, she will give us her insights on the benefits of public relations, community outreach, and media relations. So, Jennifer, welcome to the Public Relations Review.
Thank you so much, Peter. I'm thrilled to be here and really honored.
Well, great.
I was thrilled to do this today, and your background blew me away as well, and I just feel very grateful to be here. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, so let's begin with you providing your insights on the benefits of public relations and its connections to community outreach and media relations.
Absolutely. In my opinion, I think we as a society have a responsibility to give back and serve others. I think leaders of all organizations need to be visible by the audience, really for the audience that they want to serve. This can be live events, community-based events, or digital events, but whether you're a for-profit or a nonprofit, the desire to serve others should always be there. And my experience with public relations during my career has really been with nonprofits in healthcare as well as higher education. And the way I suggest now as a business owner is really the same protocol I did when I worked inside an organization, the public relations or public affairs department. But, it's all about building relationships, increasing your reach or your visibility and credibility through public relations programs, and having an event. Public relations means event planning as well. And a lot of times the media loves to cover an event, especially if it's for children or for a health concern perhaps. That is really all about education. And that is my favorite type of event to publicize, or organization, if it's a nonprofit organization that specializes in a health concern such as mental health. That's really one of my sweet spots. It's very easy for me to get media coverage or earned media for that type of an organization.
Do you, when dealing with your clients, help them understand the need for a good public relations program and the fact that they're doing something in and of itself may not be enough for a publicity activity, but maybe you'll have to build some things around it so that it becomes what I call media worthy?
Yes, absolutely. And I've started with people that have never done PR before. They're either a startup. In fact, I've just been on the board of Believe Big. It's within cancer, the field of cancer and medical research. And they have never used a public relations expert before or PR counsel. So I am so grateful and honored. And it's starting from the ground up to educate organizations and individuals on the value of PR. PR is just not media interviews, but to me, earned media interviews is the most cost-effective way for a nonprofit, in this case, to spread awareness, increase their connections, increase their visibility and awareness to the community that they want to serve, and also increase their credibility level. Once they can prove with an article or perhaps a TV interview that they are worthy in the really in the face of or in the view of a media outlet, there are more opportunities, whether they need a grant, whether they need to do philanthropy, which all nonprofits need to do, and hospitals and other healthcare entities as well. If you are nowhere to be found, even social media as well. If you don't have any social media platforms that you're on, nobody has seen you, you don't have a website or any of those tangible items, it's very hard to be seen as a credible source or a credible organization. So you really have to start from the ground up with, education internally within an organization on the importance, like you said, or value of public relations and all the entities that go in with that. It's communication. It's really starting with the who, what, where, when, and why. Your mission. What is your purpose? What is your why? I always say. And also communicating that effectively with everyone in the organization, whether it's the employees, your volunteers, your trustees, the board, everybody that comes in contact internally. And then you take that refined message and you spread it publicly and to the communities, like I said, that you want to serve.
Well, a couple of things. One, you probably also let them know that the public has more credibility or believes more in an article that has been published as compared to some advertising that has been bought. And two, that your public relations is everything. It's how the people answer the telephone, how they're handled when they're spoken to. All of those things go into helping develop a perception of your organization, and therein how people will treat you as a result.
Absolutely. Those are great details. And it is, a colleague of mine posted something about public relations is everything you do and say. Mm-hmm. And I was talking on a panel last week here in Baltimore to educate this group on PR. And really, you walk out of your house now, you go on social media. If you're presenting yourself with the organization, with whom you're employed with, that everything you do and everything you say is almost like going on stage. You are now a part of that team, a part of that that group that is now presenting themselves to the public. So you need to be careful. And I think because we're such a digital world now, it can have a greater impact in a positive or a negative way too.
So how have those for the first time who have gotten involved with the PR campaign, how have they accepted it?
Well, I would say two of my clients when I first started my business did so well, and I knew they would because I valued them so much. The work that they were doing to help their community was just so aligned with my values on how I want to run a business that I was able to land them several TV spots and also breaking news with one of my clients that she was able to provide expert opinion or an expert quote. And then as we moved into Mental Health Month last October, I was able to garner her or attain a live TV coverage for her on a morning program. So a lot of preparation went into that because we started working with this one particular client. We started working in May or June. And so I had to lay the groundwork and education and, writing a bio for her. That's usually what I do to really immerse myself in that brain or the work of that organization so that I can really use my listening skills and pick up all those finer details about that organization or that individual's goals and where they want to take their business and how they want to serve their community. So once I delve deep into the psyche of that person or organization, write a really good in-depth bio, then I start building, taking my relationships and really spreading awareness, saying this is my new client, this is the amazing work they're doing. As things start to bubble within the media or trends, and also searching for creative ways to build awareness or garner, I should say, a media placement. That's really how it starts, and it's just this. It's really, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. Can be very slow sometimes, unless I hit the jackpot with something hot or breaking news. But the basic, really core is educating, like you said, educating that client or organization on the importance and also the protocol and procedures that are a part of public relations. That it's really a collaborative effort. It's not me doing all the work. It takes a commitment and some courage from that individual organization as well, because they need to get out. They need to do speaking engagements. They need to go to networking events. They need to have really good social media outlets. They need to have a really solid, up-to-date website so that all of our messaging and branding and everything is completely aligned and fits perfectly within, the PR campaign or PR program that we're going to start. So there's a lot of homework to be done ahead of time. I also need to make sure I am taking on a client that I can help. Not everything is perfect. I can't hit it out of the water or hit it out of the park every time, but I try very methodically to see ahead to the future and think outside the box and get creative. Because of my background in nonprofits, our budgets were small to none. So I was always really good at being creative and working with a shoestring budget, so to speak.
Well, I think you've touched on several things. One, I listened to you when you talked about preparing the bio for a person. One of the things that I do, and obviously others do, is also begin to set that particular person up as an expert on this particular issue so that the media will call on them. Because having worked in this area, you'll find that a lot of times the media doesn't want to go tracking down somebody new. They want to have somebody that they know is reliable, that they can call on to answer questions on this particular topic. And it works well for them because now all of a sudden the story might not always be about them, but at least they're in the story.
Exactly. That's like a good trend piece. And I know when I worked in Philadelphia and even here too with crisis situations, I had already built relationships ahead of time so that when a crisis struck, they would come to me. They knew I could provide timely information and an expert right when they needed it. So, public relations is all about building relationships, your own credibility level, and having an authority, being the authority on a particular topic. And that's exactly what I do for my clients, building those connections, increasing the visibility, which all comes to a point, and you have increased credibility level as well.
Well, and adding to that credibility is also enhanced once a reporter understands that I know when I call this person, I'm going to get a good, solid response from them. but the person has to also understand that they have to be there so that they can respond to the reporter.
Yeah, being timely is huge, and that's one of the things I really care so much about, that when I am called and it's a crisis situation, within 30 minutes, I either try to track somebody down or get back to them and say, listen, I'm totally on it. I'm going to see which of my experts I can get for you right away. And, that's all when I would start with an organization. It's doing media training and getting the staff or the docs that I was working with at the time on board, kind of breaking the mystique behind media relations and working with journalists and feeling comfortable. So I would bring in a producer or, an anchor person from a news outlet and have them sit down and talk, so that my credibility was also enhanced because they could hear the other side talking, saying, when there's breaking news, we want to call on you. So we want you to be prepared ahead of time so you know how to speak properly on camera. And, Jennifer will give you talking points and you'll have statistics ready to go and have a really wonderful collaboration between the news outlet, my source, or, my staff person, and me. And really, it's all about the relationship building and the collaborative effort and the time that people don't see when, I got my client on 7:15 this morning, peak news time. But behind the scenes, there's so much preparation, and it's so worth it to be prepared all the time. I prepare for interviews. Even today, I prepared to get on the phone with you so I could speak effectively to help your audience. And that's what I tell my clients too, which you mentioned a moment ago. It's not about me or my client. It's about serving others and providing valuable content and information for that particular audience. And I try all the time when I'm educating people that, really know nothing about PR, that it's not about you. It's really about serving others and helping others.
Particularly in dealing with nonprofits and small organizations, or maybe even small companies, community outreach, how that benefits them from a public relations point of view, how they can let people know what they do can benefit the community at large.
Exactly, especially with a big company, if they are a corporation, so to speak. Most of them now know about the importance of giving back and helping others, so that if they pick a charity to work with that aligns beautifully with their mission and their purpose, then they host an event to raise money for that particular chosen nonprofit. That's when everything gels, and you've taken a for-profit that is now helping a nonprofit organization to rise and help others as well. And I think, all leaders need to be out front. They need to be representing their organization. And I know some CEOs are very uncomfortable. Then if that is truly the case, then you need to educate somebody else to step in and be the face of that company, and also, set forth a very good positive strategy for helping the community. And, when I worked at the healthcare organizations and higher education organizations too, we would do campaigns, but we would start with an event. So, one community hospital, we hosted a baby shower. And the purpose of that was we wanted to help these low-income women in this community, the surrounding area of this hospital, learn about the importance of prenatal health care. And we got a full-page ad in the local newspaper, which just, increased the education from prenatal health care, increased the visibility for the amazing work that the docs and the nurses and everybody at this community hospital were doing. And again, it provided that educational component for the public overall. Another example was one of my favorites. We hosted a Happy and Healthy Mind art contest for Philadelphia City Schools. And the sponsor was the hospital a behavioral health hospital where I was working. And that was absolutely one of the most amazing experiences for me, from the ground up, to get a group of people from the city to come up with an idea, come up with a theme, and to educate young children on the importance of being, healthy mentally. That was such a fulfilling and inspiring event, and we did garner lots of media attention. In fact, we ended up doing a traveling art show for the next several months around the Philadelphia area, so that the hospital where I was working at the time, we were able to get their experts to talk about the importance of a healthy and happy mind, starting from adolescent on up. And it was that perfect event that my CEO was thrilled. We collaborated with, the city mayor's office. We had an art component, which is so important. The hospital where I worked did art therapy and horticultural therapy. So we were able to incorporate all of the important components of education, awareness, and visibility.
On occasion, what I have done with some of my clients is that when there's an opportunity for them to come testify before the city council, for instance, in an area that they are specialized in, that the city council can now hear from that organization how their money was spent. The other side benefit to that is mostly all city council meetings are covered by the media. So now you're getting a two for it. Not only does the city council hear about your benefits, but also people in media relations can also, or representatives of the media can also hear what you have been doing.
Wonderful. I absolutely love that. That's a fantastic opportunity, definitely.
So now you also deal with small businesses. Do you find that obviously some of your same techniques can carry over, or do small businesses have a different need than, let's say, a small organization, nonprofit organization?
No, you're right. I think it depends on their goals. I did have one woman that she was we called it a three-pronged approach. She had a for-profit, she had an organization. It wasn't a nonprofit, but she was going to give her time to help others, but it wasn't technically a nonprofit. And then I was going to represent her as well. So I would use the same approach. And I think when I'm pitching to the media, my premise is it's really about educating their audience and serving their audience by giving them some valuable nugget of information. So if I come at it at that angle, with that educational angle, that is a lot more helpful than, and I haven't sold products. I haven't done like a product launch before. So I don't have expertise in that.
For those, let me also say this now, for those, let's say maybe young people who might be considering a career in public relations, how would you advise them to, one, go about getting in, and two, the benefits that they can accrue from becoming a public relations practitioner?
You definitely work on verbal, written communication, experience everything while you're in college, including internships. I had the great fortune of working for an anchor woman in Philadelphia in the newsroom for a semester, as well as an amazing producer at a video production company too. So I did 2 internships. I studied abroad in Europe and did some teaching. So anything that gives you the opportunity to really hone your communication skills, your written skills, whether it's doing a little bit of acting or role playing so that you're comfortable with public speaking, really great, phone skills, whether it's customer service work or, HR work is good too. Anything that really increases that communications tools overall, and just experience everything you can, because that's really what public relations is about. If you're a really good listener, a very good speaker, you're great at building connections and networking, to me that is what makes a really good public relations pro. The flip side of it is if you're not outgoing or you're not comfortable with being out in the public relations loves that personality as well, that somebody really gets, can dig deep into data. And right now it's about SEO and algorithms, that there's a place for every type of brain, I think, within public relations, because there's so much to it.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so very, very much. It has been delightful to talk to you, and having a chance to be exposed to your experiences and wisdom. And for my listeners, again, my guest today was Jennifer McGinley. She is the CEO of JLM Strategic Communications, headquartered in Hunt Valley, Maryland. And again, to my listeners, thank you for listening, and please join us for the next edition of the Public Relations Review podcast.
This podcast is produced by Communications Strategies, an award-winning public relations and public affairs firm headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you for joining us.